Hello, welcome to the future of Aeothar. Previously, the party was in Wintervale looking into cult activity. After a run-in with the crime boss, the Red King, who Greylor has already had a previous run-in with, they're subjected to a chase through the city, where they hide out in a guildmaster's shop. They notice strange apparitions on the walls, and upon leaving, they see several more in the streets. These rifts, which seem to be blocking them in. The Red King catches up to them and is about to fireball the group as time itself seems to freeze. A rift opens in the sky and a large vortex comes out, inhaling the group into it, at which point they black out. And that's where we're gonna go ahead and pick up. So, as you black out, you hear silence. And it's a very palpable, tangible silence. Almost like if you've ever seen those space videos where you can hear just a constant, just ambient hum. That's kind of what you hear. And it's very dark where you're at as you begin to come to. And as you do, you start hearing very light ticking, almost like clocks. And you hear almost like a chanting ambient music, and the dark room seems to have a single shaft of light in it at the moment. There's a pedestal with a clock that is just ticking, and several more shafts of light illuminate the rest of the room, and you see different clocks, hourglasses with different levels of sand in it. And this room is very still beyond the clocks. The air is still, there's not a lot of sound beyond the clicking and the almost chant-like music you hear. As it begins to swell in almost a symphony with alarms going off and chimes being rung, you hear a gruff voice from behind you, and it says, "Simply astonishing, isn't it?" And you turn around and you see what looks like, remembering what Reggie looks like, it seems like an Eladrin in summer mode, but this Eladrin seems to be extremely old, even by Elven standards. He has white hair, wrinkles on his face and his hands. It's hard to place how old he might be, but he is quite old.
Who are you? What in the world's going on?
And he says, I am Tanis, the guardian of time.
Okay, so everything that just went slow-mo a moment ago or whatnot and such was your doing?
Indeed, it was. That world was about to collapse in upon itself. You may have noticed the rips and the tears within it.
Oh yeah, there was plenty of those things.
And he says, the shadows you saw on the other side were wraiths almost of a different time, a different timeline merging into your own.
Whoa. So it wasn't just it wasn't just on another plane of existence or something. We were literally seeing another time. Lord, okay. This is all kind of time stuff going on here. I have a better question. Why us?
Well,
why is this happening to us right now? And just technically, why?
And he says, well, all of you are what would be considered anomalies.
Anomalies? Oh, okay. How?
And he says, that world that you lived in, you didn't exactly belong there.
I was born and raised in that timeline. How could any of us not be part of that timeline?
And he says, at one point, before all of you, a single event happened that made your reality branch off into multiple directions. Your reality was a single branch upon that tree.
Let me guess. Apparently not the main one or something?
Indeed. Sometimes two branches can begin to grow into each other. And once that happens, only one usually comes out of it.
And the one that we were on was not it.
Unfortunately, you were on the losing side, yes.
So, why us then?
Well, I
Why us
suppose
in particular?
I suppose I could have left you to be torn to atoms, but...
Oh, no. Like, I'm very grateful for all that and all that jazz, but what will happen to our world? I'm more worried about the people that we're, like, leaving behind. Like, I have an entire guild I have to worry about. Like, what's gonna happen to them?
And he says, they'll be fine. Time has corrected itself, and the flow goes uninterrupted once again. All the people you know...
all you had to do was take us out, and it just naturally blended together or something?
Precisely.
Fascinating. I'm still curious on why us, though. Like, she goes right into, like, this real hardcore, like, thinking mode. She's pinching the bridge of her nose, and then she holds her head, and she's like, ow, I think I popped a brain cell.
And he walks up to what looks like a brass or a bronze sort of water basin on a pedestal and begins to swirl his finger around in it. It shows images in the water of things you've done in the past, you as a group, you as individuals. And he says, but now, looking at this, there's almost a complete parallel. And he swirls his finger the other way, and much like looking through the rift, there's a sort of gray, fuzzy, monochromatic image on the other side where you see 5 similar looking people to you, all going through similar trials, going through their own personal growths and adventures. And he says,
go over and look.
The source of the anomaly, you. There were 2 parallel people of the same exact types inhabiting the same exact world.
That's kind of creepy.
As this is all happening, this conversation, Alcaeus his head is tilted towards the ground, and his eyes are darting as he hears all this explanations being given onto us. He's just looking in amazement at all these structures, all these what looks like clocks, I guess.
Mm-hmm. There's
and at the moment,
there's clocks and hourglasses and different forms of keeping time, and they're all on different times and different levels of dropping their sand. And he motions to all of them and says, time from every conceivable reality, timeline, all here, all under my care.
And as he finishes that sentence, his eyes, it meets his gaze, and his eyes widen, and you see him very quickly shuffling and patting himself down, quickly looking for his 2 idols and his I guess his artwork of his past.
Mm-hmm.
Does he find it?
Yes, you still have your belongings on you, including your children.
Oh, thank goodness.
Wait a moment. What exactly is gonna happen to us now? Are we just gonna disappear? Are we gonna go? Can we even go back?
And he says, would you like to disappear?
No. It's just a question. Just a question.
And he says, oh, well, I only wish to find out your wishes. That's all.
Wishes?
Well,
what you wish to happen. I can let you cease to be if that's what you would like, or I can find a point in your world's future where there is no anomaly where you would be able to fit right in.
I'll
Question.
take the ladder. I think we'll all take the ladder.
Question, Tannis.
Yes.
Are you a god?
A god? No. I'm no god.
Can I insight check him on that?
Sure.
21.
He seems to be telling the truth. He says, I'm old. I couldn't begin to tell you how long I've stayed here, how long I've guarded this precious sacred area. A god I am not. Yet some would say even more powerful than a god.
What is this place exactly?
And he says, this is the bastion of time. This is a point where all times converge into a single spot. Time doesn't pass here.
Tannis, you said something about a wish. As Alkia steps forward, I'm looking for someone very, very dear to me.
And he says, well, and perhaps you'll find them where you're going. He says, for me, I'm prohibited to intervene unless something is irreversibly about to destroy a timeline. Beyond that, I can merely spectate.
Could you, with this, as he points at the bronze, I guess, looking bowl, would you be able to spectate on my dear son?
Roll persuasion.
All right. Okay, I think. Hold on.
Oh.
And he says, unfortunately, that would be a gross misuse of my powers. I would be acting far above my station were I to do that.
Well, could you at least, if you can put us back into the timeline, could you at least tell us how much time would have passed between now, well, our now when you plucked us out, and where we're going?
And he says, where you come out at, I have no control over, yet the flow of time I do. And he says, allow me to find a suitable spot in your future to place you. And begins making circular motions with his fingertips in the looking bowl. And he starts making a swirling motion going clockwise, and goes for about 30 to 45 seconds or so, and finally stops and says,
What does mean?
55 years into the future, I can put you.
Before
Oh
we go,
boy.
That is the soonest I can put you back in without the anomaly resurfacing.
Tannis.
tell me, these clocks, are they timelines?
Every single one represents a timeline within the world. Every conceivable timeline you could imagine. That's all here. And you see more beams of light past like the shadowed off parts on the outskirts of the room shine down, and just lines of different clocks and hourglasses and different apertures for keeping time.
Well, if any of these were to break, what would happen?
Then that reality would cease to exist.
I look over to Greylord. Grey, don't touch anything.
And does it have to be 55 years?
It could be more than 55 years, but no sooner.
No. I, 55 years is fine.
May I ask a request?
It's better than nothing. Would you at least tell me if my guild is doing okay? I do have a few friends still within the guild. 55.
Roll persuasion. And he says, unfortunately, this journey is yours to find out.
I see. Well,
Could I possibly ask you to tell me if someone who's important to me is still alive in these 50 years in the future?
And he says, I'm not allowed to tell you any personal things like this. It would be a gross misuse of my power. All of
then
these things.
maybe we should all just stop asking the questions and just accept what we've been given. Apparently, we probably could have been wiped out, for God's sakes.
And he says,
Thank you for saving us, I think.
And he says, time is constantly moving and shifting. Any future knowledge like this could have drastic impacts on it.
I don't think you're saving us, but I don't think we could do much to change what you've done. Part of me thinks I should just smash these clocks and receptacles until you put me back.
He says, He picks up a clock and begins winding the hand forward and says, start with this one, and tosses it to you. As you catch it, you black out again. All of you.
Fuck. So tempting.
What was that brief moment that I missed? Because something about a clock and.
Oh, yeah. Max said he was tempted to run throughout the room and smash the clocks. And Tanis picked up one clock and wound it forward and said, start with this one, and tossed it to him. And as soon as Mac catched it, all of you blacked out again.
Oh, like probably at that point in time, I would be like, Mac, are you kidding me? And then he tosses the clock. Poof. I swear, when we wake up.
Yeah, and then you guys black out again.
Fun.
It's hard to say how much time has gone by since you did pass out, but as you begin to come to, you come to in a very dark room with shafts of light coming from the outside of it. You can see on the outside there's a very intense white color, and it is very cold where you are. The building you're in is not much larger than a shack, and the walls have like gaps in them, and the roof has begun to cave in a little bit, so it's a bit open.
Where are we?
I have
What
no
happened
idea.
to that guy?
Good thing we are still wearing our warm clothes, anyways.
Yeah.
Do I still have
why
the
is
clock?
it colder?
Currently, no. The clock is not in your
No.
hands.
You better not have that clock still. Oh my god.
Alcaeus will try and, if he can, he's gonna try and look for some, any kind of, I guess, wood or something that could light a fire with.
Okay, roll investigation.
Geez, I'll help you with that.
16. Okay. So yeah, you see.
I find nothing.
Okay. So yeah, you see in the room there is some old broken wood from a table and like a broken up chair, and there looks to be almost like a dresser that's been collapsed in on itself. So there is some scrap wood around.
Okay. Upon inspecting these wood, I guess, leg pieces. Is there some kind of design on them that is distinct at all?
Besides like a general like floral pattern on the very top of the backrest, no, there's nothing really defining about it.
Okay, so he'll put it together and gather it right close, as close as he can to the group, and he's gonna try and light it up with a tinder.
Okay. And you have a tinderbox, right?
Yeah, I think so. It comes with the. Yeah, I think I should.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and roll a survival for me.
All right.
Or is the tinderbox something you can roll with? Is it like thieves' tools where you can assign it?
It is not.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
All right. So yeah, survival. That's fine then. 17. So you do get a fire going. The wood is a little bit damp and it takes a bit to get going, but once it does, it's fairly easy to keep more wood dried out next to it and keep the fire going.
so.
And it also does light up the room a little bit. It is daylight outside, but it's relatively dark in this room besides the shafts of light coming in through the broken beams.
Where
Okay, so-
exactly are we?
Lord, that is a very good question. Who was that man? Were we all just seeing something? And where are we?
No, I think we all saw the same thing. I'm gonna see if I can find a way out of this place. Be too
Just-
hard?
I
Just
think I'll
be
join
very
you.
careful.
Yeah. Do I find a way out of this place?
Yeah, there's a door in the front of the building.
And this is just a rundown old building, pretty much, that we're in.
Yeah, it's probably like a 8x10 shack, it seems like. The
Well, might as
floor,
well just open the door.
the floor isn't even like, it's just like an earthen floor too. It's very simple.
Well, open the door.
Okay. You open the door and you have a little bit of resistance on the outside because there's about 2 feet of snow in front of the door. And you push
Not
it
too
open.
much of a problem for me.
You push the door open and it leaves like, a freshly carved out area where the door opens on the ground where the snow is. And you look out and you are on top of a mountain, it seems like.
Okay, was not expecting this.
Covered in snow with like granite rocks on the cliff face. And looking out, you see a few miles out from where you are on the mountain, there is ocean, and it seems to go all the way around.
No,
As
no,
far
no,
as,
no.
like,
We
where you
can't
can
be like
see.
on an island in the middle of the ocean or something. Like, what the frick? I'm gonna explore outside to see the surrounding area. I'll be right back.
So yeah,
Can I get my symbols back off Daffodil and Alceus and wrap them back around my wrists?
Question. Did we notice that Mac put his symbols on us?
I would say maybe not you, because you were pretty inconsolable during that point. But Daffodil probably would, yeah.
I mean, you're welcome to ask when I take it back.
As he reaches towards Alcaeus, he'll look at him and yes, Mac, are you all right? Did you want something?
I'm fine. I'd appreciate if you'd bend down, big fella. I can't quite reach your neck.
My neck.
And I'm
Is there
sorry to
something wrong
take
with my
these
neck?
things back so fast, but I don't think you'll be needing it here. I hope not.
I'm sorry, I'm a little confused.
The necklace, the amulet, Alpheus. If you'd care to take it off and hand it down.
Alcaeus will look at the necklace very briefly. What does it look like?
You have a mad misholy symbol around your neck.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh. So he will kneel down and let Mac to his things.
Okay.
I did not know that I was having this episode. I'm very sorry to all of you to see that.
Um, well, I'm sure when the rest of them come to realize just what may or may not, admittedly, but more than likely has occurred, there'll be many more episodes to come. Better than what I thought was happening. I think I'll go after Monique and make sure she doesn't get too lost out in the snow.
Thank you. You're a good man, Mac. I hope you guys are okay out there. Hopefully, you guys can see the campfire from wherever we are.
I'll be fine out there. I'll say this.
All right. Alcaeus will very quickly test the magical necklace and try to make sure if Mac hears it. Hello. Just I don't know where we are, but I hope these things still work.
Does it still work?
Yes. Yep. It works just fine.
We're
Who's he
all
talking
good.
to?
I'll say this. We're all good.
All right. Just
Now,
be careful out there.
I will. And I'm gonna head out the door. I'll use shape water to push any snow out of my way, because it's a cantrip. And then when I get maybe 100 feet from the cabin they're in, I will ritual cast the tiny hut and sit down in it.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, and you walk out, and similar to what Monique saw, you see that you are essentially on top of a mountain, and you can look down and see land in front of you that goes on for a good while, and then ocean kind of wrapping around the land that you can see.
Not ideal, but it is what it is.
Monique, so you said you were going out to take a look around?
Basically going around the hut of, like, I don't know, as far as, like, I'll go as far out in a circle around the hut, as long as I can still see the hut in my view.
Okay, so basically just explore the area within view of where the hut is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, roll investigation.
Yeah, can I just use perception?
Sure.
That's better.
15. Okay. So you walk around and try to look for anything to give you any sort of clue about where you are, and you don't really see anything within the vicinity of the hut. You do see behind where the hut is, on the right side of the cliff, there seems to be a pathway that goes up to the next part of this mountain. And then one on the far left side, to the left of the hut, that seems to be going down.
Okay. Well, might as well bring back what I saw. Or at least go back and tell them the surrounding area of what I saw.
Mm-hmm. Essentially, it looks like a winding path that comes like up the mountain and like across the landing you're on, and then up higher onto the mountain.
Oh, go back and tell my friends what I found.
As Alcaeus is waiting for Mac and Monique to come back, how are Graylar and Daffodil looking?
I'm
Honestly,
okay.
I think I'm gonna need a few minutes to process what just happened.
Everything.
All right.
I liked Clockland.
And I'm just gonna sit in the corner of the room having an existential crisis.
Are you sure you want to? Are you sure you want to go into that corner? It's very cold over there. I would suggest to stay near.
I'm gonna sit by the fire and have
campfire.
an existential crisis.
How's Daffodil, the young one, doing?
She seems fine. She's vibing.
Vibing.
She kind of just looks at you weird and is like, we went to Clockland. How could that be a bad thing? Graylar, why are you so upset?
My entire the entire way I perceive space and time has been altered today.
I don't know what that means.
You should simplify it for her. Maybe draw something.
Bust out the crayons.
I don't know.
I think he means.
Let me know when I get back.
He Alcaeus pulls out his pictures of his past with Reggie and his son and himself, and all his past events. He's gonna stretch it over and show it over to Daffodil. I think what he means is time, as in, this is the yesterday and before that, and here we are now. Those clocks, they have shuffled them around as he shuffles them in his hand, and they're all in different orders. Does that make sense, young one?
Time changed? It always does that.
You're right.
Yes, but normally not multiple years in a row in a matter of seconds.
Oh.
Just wait till I get there.
Does Alcaeus look any different? I can't roll, but does he does he look any different?
No, he looks normal.
He's just got sunken eyes.
Oh.
Around this time, Monique would be getting back.
Hey guys, I took a look around the perimeter and such like that. How are you all guys holding up?
I think we're pretty warm in here. We've just been waiting for you. How's everything out there?
It's cold. And I basically repeat what I saw.
Yeah, there is a path that comes up the mountain from down in the valley below, and it seems to come up the mountain and go across this landing that you guys are at, and then continue up, like, around the cliff, higher up the mountain.
Monique, do you remember if this path, does it look like it was well traveled, or do you think this was something more natural?
Do I?
I mean, it seemed like an older path. There were what looked like chunks of minecart track, though, that were sticking out, like, in intervals, though.
Yeah, okay.
So, it seemed like maybe it was, like, a way for, like, a minecart to come at one time.
It looks old, like it hasn't been used in a while or something, but a path is still a path. It's the only one I saw.
You're
The
right.
least we can do is at least try it.
I think you're right. Yes, I think we should follow it instead of just staying here, wherever we are.
You mean in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by nothing but cold?
Yes, in the cold and slowly losing fuel. I would suggest that we keep moving, keep our body warm.
Yeah, good idea.
What do you think, Daffodil? Graylor?
Raylor is just in the fetal position by the fire right now, having a mental breakdown.
Mac, you okay?
Mac's gone.
Yeah, he's not here.
Like he
Okay, correction.
left and made a white dome in the snow.
Raylor, you okay there? Goes over and kneels down next to him.
He's comatose.
He does not reply. He's just in the fetal position, staring at the fire.
I think we might need to just wait a bit at least.
Do I
Get
need to
our
roll something
senses into us.
Uh,
I basically just shake his head a bit, just
DM, do I need to roll something to not have a complete mental breakdown?
Roll a wisdom save.
Yeah.
Wow.
Double
Get him,
nat
Mike.
20.
You're actually handling it pretty well,
He was just lying to us the whole time.
right? Trying to get attention.
It's not the first time.
You never even had a family.
What a horrible thing to say! Ray, yoo-hoo.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to process this a little bit.
Okay, then. Let's process while moving, shall we? The longer we stay here, the more insane you'll probably end up getting.
Do I see Max Dome?
Grayler, roll investigation.
17, not bad.
17. Okay. You look around and you don't see it at first. It does blend in with the white snow around it, but after walking around and getting a bit closer, you do see a very out of place looking white dome.
How does
I knock
Daffodil
on the
feel?
dome.
I'm good with moving. I just don't understand. You said time passed, but we don't look any different.
Daffodil, are you okay?
She's just coming into terms with how time works. Well, I guess the confusion of how time works now. I'm just
Let's
trying to
try
explain it to
this.
her.
Let's try this. Pretend that you're reading a storybook.
Story?
We were
I like stories.
Yes, and all of us were right in the middle of our story.
Mhm.
But then all of a sudden, our characters were plucked directly from it. And then the pages went all the way forward, so very far into the future of the book, very close to the end, and it plopped us right back in there.
Oh, are we at the end of the story?
Oh, no. This story doesn't have an end. It just so happens that our story is basically how we live our lives and such. We just so happen to have been plucked from one timeline and basically put into a more future timeline.
Or perhaps into even a different book with blank pages.
I think I get it more now. I like the book thing.
Basically, everyone we know has aged where we have not aged.
Grayler, don't say that yet. We don't know. Please don't say that.
I mean, the time guy, Tana, said we're being put 50 something years in the future.
Well, it's
Well,
easier to explain it as characters. How we are right now is how we were all those years ago when we were plucked out of our story. And we're just put into many years into the future of our story instead of having to go through all those years and growing up.
He did say there were different times going on at the very same time. And
stories can happen
not
at the same
get
time.
into that intricate of things.
Yes, let's figure
All
out.
that matters is
let's
that we
figure
were
this out.
plucked from our timeline and put into a future one. In other words, we were plucked from near the beginning of a story and plucked nearer to farther into the future of the book of the story. Either way, the only thing we can do is simply move forward and live the lives that we now have. And I don't think you would want to be spending your days in this rusty old place, now would you, Daffodil?
Oh, we should leave.
And that's what we shall do then.
we
Make
need to
sure
find
we
our
all
way
have
back.
our things, snuff out the fire, and then we'll head
Can
out.
I knock on Max Dome? Tell him we're getting ready to get going.
By the way, where is Mac?
He went on a walk. We made sure to
I'm just
use
walking
the
up to his,
necklaces.
I'm just walking up to his dome and
All right.
knocking on it.
I just hope he doesn't go too far from us. None of us know exactly where we are right now. It's best to at least stick together.
I'm not designating any of them to enter.
Okay.
Mac, it's me, Graylor, your old friend. First, gave you 200 gold.
Shit.
Yes, tug at those heartstrings,
Forgot
boy.
about that.
Would you say 10 minutes have passed since I was first able to make the hut?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I couldn't, innately call Kara back, because I sent her into the time vortex thing. I'm pretty sure she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Is she dead?
Yeah.
Then I have been spending the last 10 minutes remaking her
Okay.
with one of my charges.
Remaking your little owl,
Yes.
little owl, right? Ah,
Yeah.
okay then.
And I will designate. I can't designate Greylord to enter. I can only do it when I start the spell.
Do you get ready to leave? We're gonna try and get off this mountain.
Do we see Greylord off in the distance or somewhat?
Yeah.
You just see me talk.
Yeah.
You just see me like talk to something looks like a fucking snowdrift.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like he's just talking to like a pile of snow, but you do see him.
Well, click in my mind. Greylord, are you talking to the dome by chance of Mac?
No, I'm talking to this my best friend, Steep Snowdrift.
I'm
Your
gonna
best
take
friend.
my answer as a yes.
Tokyo Snowdrift.
He might be doing something at the moment.
Well, we can't just leave him behind. We gotta get him to come out of the dome so we can get going.
Well, what exactly is he doing? Have you tried asking him through the necklace?
Can I see into the dome?
Nope.
No.
It's opaque. You can't see through it. You could probably hear me burning herbs in a brazier
The
and chanting.
The opacity
weird.
is turned all the way up.
Yeah, and chanting weird arcane sounds and shit, but you
I
probably
just-
don't know what any of it means.
I just yell over to Monique. I think he's doing magic stuff.
Then we're gonna have to wait. Magic does take some time after all.
I guess outside the dome in the snow, waiting for him to finish whatever he's doing.
Not waiting for him to
Well,
finish. It's cold, and she'll start
cold,
kicking
yeah.
on the dome.
Okay.
I
Good
mean,
luck.
And you guys
Monique
snuffed
did-
out the fire already?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Monique
so-
did stuff by the fire, so
Cold.
we are freezing.
Yeah.
And I have a question: Is Daffodil is she
We
cold-blooded?
still have our winter gear on.
I don't know what Dragonborns are.
Which
Yeah.
type of Dragonborn are you? Copper,
Copper.
aren't you? So
Yeah.
you wouldn't be resistant to cold.
Yeah, I'm
No,
cold.
you're not resistant to cold.
And I'm nice
But we
and
should
toasty and
still
might
have
as
our
well.
warm things on anyways.
I'll say weather-wise too. There's a lot of snow around. Like the snow is probably about 2 feet high, but the sun is out at the moment, and it's relatively warm, but it is still cold. You can see your breath, but you do feel a little bit warmer because the sun is out, and you can see kind of haloing the land that you can see like at the edge of the coast. Haloing the outside of the perimeter are darker clouds, but they don't seem to be moving in.
Mr. DM, sir, I have a question.
Hmm.
Can I make a snowball?
Sure.
And
Can I
throw
make a
it at
snowball?
I throw it at Alcaeus.
Okay. Roll a d20 plus your dex modifier.
That's a 10.
No. Nope. It goes wide. It gets a little bit of a spin on it and kind of goes off to the left.
Would Alcaeus have noticed that?
Roll perception. Yeah. I would say that you would.
I'm gonna ask Mac what he's doing on the necklace. Mac, you okay in there?
You just hear weird chanting, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to wait for him.
Open up! I don't want to be in the cold!
He's probably in the middle of doing something.
I
important.
don't
The Mac-
care! Open! At least bring me in there. I don't want to be cold.
I'm just. Can I take off like the heavier part of my winter gear and like just put it on Daffodil?
Sure.
I do that.
I reach into my bag and it's just like, where are they? Aha! And I haul out one of the bags of candy. It's just like, let's have a few snacks, shall we?
But wait. Is the candy 50 years old now or something?
No, everything that was on our persona, the same as us, has not changed in age. only the world around us has changed. Like I said, plucked from one part of the story and plucked right back in a future part of the story. Think of it as time traveling.
So I can eat the candy?
Yes, the candy's fine.
Yay!
I mean,
She'll
you might
walk
have
up
And
to you
I
and
and
stop
I
taking
instantly
on the
like pop a
dome.
few in my mouth, and I'm just like, yep, still good.
Yay!
And it's moldy. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
Don't you dare!
It's
Sorry.
petrified.
As you
It's
start,
turned
I
into
literally
rock.
take out one of the few torches that I have, light that one up, and I stick it into the snow. Just pat the snow around it. Just at least keep some warmth near us.
Oh.
At
Gabriel
least
will
it's
sit
temporary.
next to you and start
Can I
eating some
throw-
of the candy.
Like
Can I try and throw another snowball at Chaos?
The cookie
Sure.
should still be good as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, roll another
Come on,
d20
come on.
with your dex mod.
That's a 13 now.
Okay, it says a 13 hit.
It does not hit.
Okay. Yeah, nope, doesn't hit.
Okay, I mean, at second throw attempt, Alkea is gonna look at him and give him a little bit of a grin,
I would say this
he's
time
gonna-
you notice, yeah.
and he's gonna gather up as much snow with his massive paws and hurl it his way as well.
Okay. So yeah, do the same. Okay, so what do you got? Just one giant snowball or like a barrage of a bunch of little ones?
It's just one very big one.
Okay.
Hurling his way.
And yeah, you fling it towards Greylor, and he does.
Can I use my monk thing where I can catch thrown and shot objects at me?
Oh,
Up
deflect
to you, boy.
Yeah.
deflect missiles? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. A part of that you can actually catch and throw back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
Ooh.
Let's see if you can do it,
Okay.
though.
Okay, that's a 3 plus 9. The block the damage.
So it negates 12 damage of it.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it wouldn't even really be that. It'd be like 5 damage. It's snow.
Jesus,
Oh,
5?
I
And then I'll throw the snowball back by burning a key point.
Oh jeez.
Okay.
Tut at
At
you.
least it's within the party, and it's not like in the middle of a town.
Yeah.
You have a point there.
Okay. So
The first town you get to.
does a 15 hit?
15 misses. He's gonna look at Greylor and he's gonna notice, yeah, he's trying to throw this the same massive snowball that he threw at him,
Mhm.
and he's gonna laugh a little. He's gonna chuckle, and you can hear that his voice is a little bit shaky because of the cold. It's getting a little cold. I appreciate the fun, this fun, but I think we should get somewhere a little warmer.
Can I try and find like some dry-ish wood at all?
Yeah, you would know there's some in the shack.
I'm gonna get that wood.
Please just take apart the shack.
I mean, you could, but like the wood on the outside is pretty wet.
I'm gonna go get that wood and use my elemental attunement to make a small campfire out of it.
Okay.
At that point, once he's made his campfire, I'd say I'm about done. So I will come out and you tell me if this is possible. I have been spending the last few minutes ritual casting Unseen Servant
Mm-hmm.
to get Cower to come by. And he has been helping me pull apart a chest that I am carrying and make 4 small, the equivalent of crosses, but each carved with a name and a symbol of, I believe it is, let me check here. It's a bear claw in a 5-fingered leaf covered in vines at the top of each one above the name, and driving them into the ground in the hut, and then putting a torch behind each of them, lighting it, and then he will walk out with a newly summoned all-black owl on his shoulder.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Those brave
The
partners.
new and improved Kara.
The new and improved.
Nice.
Well, sort of.
Ah, there you are.
Hi. Sorry. Took a while.
It's
That's
all right. Oh,
good
your
steer.
friend is back, I see.
She is.
Jesus.
Well then,
Hold on, isn't this?
you ready to move on now?
He looks
Do
different.
I see the crosses in the ground?
Yeah, you would.
Can I
What?
see the names on them though?
The names are. Well, what languages do you read?
Quite a few.
Nah, I'm just fucking with you. They're all in common. The names are Minerva, Hector, and Cassie.
I'm gonna guess these are people that most likely died.
We should be no choice but to move on. Hey, Monique.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Right.
hold on. They're
I'm
not
sorry
dead yet.
for your loss.
No,
It's been 55 years. We haven't aged, but a
No,
lot of our
this,
friends probably have.
this can't be true. I don't believe it.
I don't know much about yourself. I'll say this: you're a new species to me, but people like myself and Monique, well,
We don't
55
live
years is a
very
lot to
long.
ask for. And they were older than I am before we left. Cassie, well, maybe I'll get lucky. Who knows?
And some of
Might
my
be an
friends
uncle
were
now.
humans. Most of us live about to 100 years if we're lucky.
That'd be asking a lot.
55 years for a youngster. They would be 55 and I hadn't aged at all. But I didn't know very many youngsters. Any one of my friends that were my age are probably pushing near to the 80s now. Most likely retired.
I'm-
Then there are
I'm-
some of the masters. Well,
So
the
sorry.
higher ups anyways.
Excuse my ignorance. I didn't know humans.
Hey,
Did
it's
they-
all
did they live
right.
this long?
It's all right. You learn something new every day. Took about 55 years, but hey. Sorry, bad joke, bad timing.
It's really fine. He just likes the formalities.
I'm
Oh.
just gonna start following the path now. Can I like
Well,
look off in the distance, see if I see like
You
any,
better
like,
get a move on then.
Can I like look off in the distance, see if I like see any town lights or anything?
Sure. Roll perception. It is daytime, by the way, so you wouldn't see lights.
24.
Yeah, you do see a town in the distance. It seems like a port town on the water. It's a port town like right on the beach ahead of you.
Hey guys, I see a town.
Well then, what are we waiting for? Move forward our lives so that we can live another day.
Yep.
I think there was something important. There was some kind of meaning in there somewhere that I wanted to say, and now it's gone. Just get to it then.
Figure out
No.
where we walk.
I understand living on.
You are one of the
for
oldest
those-
living humans now.
I understand living on for those that no longer are around us. I know it.
Well, they
let's
technically
keep
wouldn't
going.
want us moping around all day. We're wishing that we could have spent more time with them.
Well, to be fair, most
Indeed,
of the people I
indeed.
know are elves, and they're probably still kicking around somewhere in Esville.
There's always a bright side.
Let's keep on.
Yeah, there's always some kind of bright side. I mean,
Indeed, you're right.
my Smith Master wasn't that. My Smith Master can actually live quite a few hundred years, actually. He was still in his mids. He's probably still kicking around, if I remember. I just hope nothing happened to... Well... Anyways, again, let's just get moving. And she starts walking the path.
Indeed. Alcaeus will kneel down in front of a daffodil, since it is 2 feet. I don't know how tall. I forgot how tall a daffodil is.
Yeah.
And he will ruffle his kind of like his chest hair and his like beard, and you can see some of the hair flying off,
Mhm.
drifting into the wind. And he's going to open up his cape that he's been covering himself with. He's gonna say, "Would you like to stay warm? I could carry you if you're very cold or if you can't see above the snow."
Daphne already has like the heavier part of my cloak right now.
This is true. Daffodil's gonna look at you. She looks very upset at the conversation that just kind of happened around her, and she's gonna wild shape into a wolf. Gonna be nice and toasty as a wolf and just start walking with the rest of the party.
Fucking druids.
Why
Like
we're
as soon as you
walking-
say Daffodil, I look behind me and it's just like, oh, sweetie, are you okay?
And while we're walking, I would like to just propose the point. Daffodil's now technically in her 60s, correct?
No. Bad you, bad.
Technically, yes.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
No, we have not
they're-
aged. The
but
world
they're
around
still-
us have aged.
I mean, if you count the year they were born, and then the current year, they're in their 60s.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
They're just stuck, they're just in the body of a 10-year-old. With the mind
I
of a
bend
10-year-old.
down and reach around the wolf, give her a hug. It's okay, sweetie. These things just happen. Like I said, gotta move forward.
We at least
Just
know
kind
Reggie-
of nods.
Hey, at least you know Reggie's still around, right? He's an elf like me.
That is true.
Wherever we are.
We just don't know what has happened the last 55 years. The only way to find
Well-
out is to get down to that town.
Yes, I'm sure we can find someone to tell us what 50 years of history happened while we were gone.
Yes, but, Gray? We're gonna need to lay a few ground rules. For instance, let's not mention that we're from the past, because that's probably going to confuse a whole whack of many people here.
Well, if we meet someone who we knew, such as that Red King guy, you're gonna wonder why we haven't aged in 50 years.
I was wondering what
Well,
happened to that gentleman.
those are exceptions. I'm talking about just random strangers.
Oh yeah, let's just not tell like every person we meet that we're 50 years older than we look.
Only thing I can think of is for me to try to find the guild to see if it's still up and running.
Well, maybe there'll be someone in that town I saw, so let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And I lead
Either
us
way.
to the town.
I probably would have grabbed the torch as well and just kept it close, because cold. I'm wearing, like, freaking, like, armor here that is just cold.
Hmm.
I can easily get colder. But then again, I can easily get warmer. Ah, brain.
I lead us to the town I saw.
Okay.
And when her
So yeah, you guys begin taking the path that goes down, and it's a little bit steep and a little bit narrow, and every once in a while you see a few rows of mining cart track kind of almost grown into the wood at this point. It's been there for quite a while, it seems, and you see that where the tracks are, it's almost like large wooden timbers that have been stacked, or not stacked, but laid out in almost like a ladder pattern with these tracks sitting on top of them. And the track is just almost sunk into the wood from being pushed down so far for so many years. And
This is fascinating. I
and
wonder how
it's-
long.
it's relatively steep too. There's flat parts, and you're almost in like a rock valley on either side, you know, almost like a chasm through this mountain, and it just goes down and, you know, kind of twists around a little bit, and in some areas it's real narrow and very steep. And you follow it for a while, and you come down to what seems like a wider, flatter area on the side of the mountain proper. And you come out and you see another dirt trail, and this goes straight north around like this area of the mountain and goes around it, and it goes down towards where this town is. And this seems to have very new large mining cart tracks on it, and you can see where it curves around at, there's a very large cave that it leads into, and you would be heading south to go to the town.
Okay, I lead us in the town with my jingly bells hats.
Okay. So yeah, you begin walking down this path, and you're surrounded by snow. First off, there's still a good amount of snow in this area, but there are patches of green and alpine trees, very large, like fir trees and pines and different trees like that.
Do any of these plants look familiar to my character at all?
Roll a nature check.
Okay. Nature.
Also,
5.
once we descended, does it feel a little bit warmer down here?
A bit, yeah. Yeah, where the patches of green are, it definitely feels like it's a bit warmer in this area, but still a bit chilly. Yeah, it's hard to tell. There's a lot of pine trees, which you know. You've seen a lot of those in a lot of different places around the world, so...
Okay, so they're native to like places like I forget the name of the continent we were on.
They're native to pretty much everywhere except deserts and like tropical rainforests.
Alcaeus will look up, and he's going to count how many suns there are in the sky, just to confirm that we are still on the same, I guess, dimension.
Yeah, there is one sun in the sky.
Okay.
How far away are we from the town now?
You're still a pretty good distance away. You're still about midway up the mountain. It has begun to flatten out a little bit and get less narrow, but nonetheless, you're still walking down the mountain. And when you start walking down this path,
noticing that there's so many different kinds of trees, it just seems a bit odd and all that kind of stuff. So I looked at them and it's just like, I think another rule we should put into place is to not be extremely surprised by things we have never seen before. Remember, we are supposed to pretend that we are not from 55 years in the past.
Well, if they change the mint on their coins, that may be a little hard to pull off, you know.
I'm sure my guild will be able to help us. I just hope that the same people are still there. I just need to meet up with my master is all.
You continue walking down this path on the mountain, and parallel to you, there's still the tracks that seem to be going the same direction as you. And this area that you're in seems fairly worked and cleaned out. It looked like maybe there were a lot more trees that grew here, but they've since been cleared out. And there's a visible sort of like dirt path that is very heavily traveled. You keep following it and you come to what looks like the entrance of a cave. The dirt pathway stops, but the tracks like continue through it. And it's a very large opening, and almost looks perfectly like a doorway or an archway.
Do we see any kind of symbol or designs on this archway?
Would we recognize it if we did?
Roll perception.
Can I roll too?
Sure.
Oh wait, that was persuasion. Let's click.
17. Okay. So you see on the archway, the inside of it seems to be bricked. And on the outside, the archway is made of these same bricks. And on the very middle of the top, there's a capstone, like a larger brick set directly in the middle. And on that, there is what looks like a triangle with a lightning bolt in the middle of it.
Would I know anything
Do-
about this at all?
Or does anyone recognize this symbol?
I would say no.
Did we like roll
Alrighty
a
then.
religion check or anything about it?
I'm like, out of character, I know what this is, but in character, let's go in.
I mean, I would say that whatever you roll, it would be a disadvantage. So if you want to roll
Yeah.
history or religion, that's fine.
Big disadvantage. Big disadvantage.
Yeah, never mind. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
Besides, we're following a dirt trail.
Yeah. and we
yes.
don't-
Right?
and we
But
don't look at-
it ends at this cave entrance. So you would have to get onto the tracks and follow it through.
Very well then. Guess where we're going.
Oh yay, underground, my favorite.
And
Well, this way was the town that we saw.
yeah, you guys are still going the right direction.
Let's stay on the side of the tracks, though. Wait a minute, how big are these tracks? Like, bigger than a normal minecart size?
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, whatever uses these tracks is pretty much big. So, we should probably at least stay on the side of the tracks as much as we can. Just in case if anyone's like pushing whatever is being pushed onto this. Must be something new. Maybe.
Yeah, and you continue through this tunnel, and you don't see light on the other side of it yet. And it's very even and very flat terrain, and there's no branches. It's very linear and goes one direction. It slightly curves gradually, going to the right as you go down further into it, but nothing major. And you begin walking, and you start to feel vibrations under your feet.
That's strange.
What's
It
going on?
sounds like the earth is beginning to shake like an earthquake.
I'm gonna get my stick out and get ready if a monster attacks us.
Everyone to the sides.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on
And,
the side, just have my stick out just in case.
You hear a very loud noise that sounds like metal being scraped against metal, and it starts as like a very low whine, like, and then just gets louder.
what matter of beast is this? And Alcaeus will also draw his axe and shield.
And the vibrations in the ground start to intensify more, and as they do, you see
I think it's something that might be using the tracks. Just get to the side. And she like pushes Alcaeus back.
and you see a very bright red light coming down the far end of the tunnel from the direction you guys had just come from. And it's so bright, it's just illuminating the floor, the walls, the ceiling, everything above. And you just hear this metal screeching as it comes through. And as it does, the light gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and you just see this huge metal monstrosity just roaring through this tunnel following this track, and it just goes by at seemingly supersonic speeds, and your hair like flows off to the side, is affected by the wind it puts off, and you're kind of pushed back onto the wall of the tunnel as it goes by. And it's just so loud you can't even hear yourself think.
Can I attempt to cast Mind Sliver at it?
You cast it and it seems to have no effect. It's still just
Curious.
zooming and roaring past you. And much like centipede or millipede, there's sections of it as it goes by, and then it finally stops, and you see it just keep going down the far side of the tunnel, and the red lights sort of disappear as it goes.
Let's keep going for more of that, whatever that is, shows up.
What was that? What was that metal worm?
I'm not sure.
Well, whatever it was.
The only thing that I can
think.
think of is just get through the tunnel and see if we can just find anyone. Most likely, we'll find something. It didn't attack us, so we should be safe. Right,
Yes.
it looked like it was made completely of metal.
And you guys would notice that as it went by, it seemed to be generating electricity. Some sort of apparatus on the bottom of it, and sort of goldish sparks coming out of it. You could see this golden red color like throughout it as it went by.
I have some kind of idea. Problem is that was just a wild dream that someone had years ago within the guild.
Well, let's just follow these things and see where they lead.
Yeah, at least now we know what uses these tracks.
Yeah, let's stick close to the wall in case another one of those things come by.
Gee, you think?
Okay.
Mac is going to walk in the center of the tracks if the thing has passed, and just observe them and try to get a sense of what they are and what they do as he progresses, and let the others stick to the wall.
Okay.
Right, just keep them in case. We just gotta keep an arm on them, pull them out of the way for them.
Oh yeah, you know I would.
And they're made of very, very thick metal, and the wood beams that they're kind of built into and worked into the ground with are very thick wood beams as well. Maybe, a foot by a foot thick.
Interesting.
Are we sure we should follow these metallic magical worms?
Well,
Well, everything has a start, so
Do
there
they
has
look
to be a
man-made?
reason why it sounded different. Maybe it started down these tracks or whatever. In other words, there should be an end to these tracks.
DM, does it look man-made?
What?
Obviously.
The
What?
track.
Yeah, oh
the
yeah.
Train track.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this obviously was made by people, and where's their people, there's someone who can help us figure out what's going on.
I'd like to know where we are.
Future,
Yes, but you
obviously.
also have to remember from where we came from and how people think we might be crazy if we tell them or if they get any kind of idea that we are from the past.
Well, we wouldn't tell them that now, would we, Monique?
Yes, I'm more looking towards a certain gray lore.
Just gonna keep
I'm
walking
sure
while they
he'll be
give me
okay.
this stink eye.
Yeah, and you guys continue walking down the tunnel, and it continues to curve to the right as you keep following it, and after a little bit, you see a light at the far end of it, and you make your way closer to it and come out of the other side, and you are once again on a cliff, and you can look to the left and see the ocean and the lowlands beneath you, and it seems like you're slowly getting closer to the valley below.
Is there some we rappel down to get closer to the valley quicker?
Do you have rope?
Yes.
I have rope.
I have 50 feet of rope. I doubt it's 50 feet down.
Okay, that means there's 3 of us with 50 feet of rope each.
I think I
which
should also
in
have rope.
total is 150 feet of rope.
Mhm.
200. Should be 200.
200 if there's a 4th person with rope.
I'd say it's
So
like-
yeah,
Yeah.
if that's something you want to try to do, roll investigation to find somewhere to.
Where does the train? Where
Anchor
did
the
the
rope
train
to.
tracks lead to? Add a character. Where did the train tracks lead to?
We don't know.
It's hard to tell. They seem to be heading towards the town, but
Yeah, but from the tunnel that we just exit out of, do they go down? Do they go up? Do they just go straight?
Coming out of the tunnel, they go straight and then follow the mountain and take a curve to the left.
Might as well keep following the tracks. It seems to be the safest way.
And
I mean-
I would say that you find somewhere you could anchor a rope to.
Hey, I think I found something very sturdy here. Some kind of rock
It's
sticking out.
yeah, it's a very large boulder that is embedded into the ground fairly deeply.
I mean, would I be able to tell if this bill gets to the town faster or would it take longer?
You have no idea.
Okay,
We
let's
see
go-
the
let's
train
go.
tracks heading over one way, and then we just see a drop. Do the train tracks, or do the tracks seem to appear nearer to the bottom?
If you like follow the track's general direction, it seems like it comes out over there. Yeah.
Then we should probably head towards those ones. If that's where the train comes out of, then yeah, we should probably. Well, which way does everyone wants to go? Who wants to go down the mountain? Who wants to follow the tracks?
I just start following the tracks again. I just keep walking.
I will walk with Greylor.
Yeah,
probably
Daffodil's
the
going with
wisest
the tracks.
thing than having to set up the rope and try to do all that. Let's just follow the tracks, because obviously it came from somewhere.
But yeah, so you guys are just going to continue following the tracks.
Yeah, do you think
but probably at a faster pace.
Yeah,
now that we know what
do you think
is
we'll
going
get
on these
to
tracks.
to the thing before we have to take a long rest?
I would say if you push it, probably.
And there's probably an inn room we can rent in that town.
We have no way of knowing.
I mean, what
Could be.
what
Who
type
knows?
of town does have an inn? In some
You'd be
capacity.
surprised.
Are we moving at half pace because of the snow? This is like 2 feet high.
No, because where you guys are following, it's fairly cleared off. Whereas it was completely covered in snow where you guys started, the further down the mountain you've gotten, it's begun to thin out a little bit and get more green and less snowy.
How big is Wolfadil?
As big as any normal wolf in DD.
Okay, so not big enough to ride.
No.
Yeah, she's not a dire wolf.
I mean,
Okay,
if
then
you're if you're frail, maybe.
I'm gonna. He's light, but he's not that light. I'm gonna tap Alpheus and say, "Big man, care to give me a lift for a sec?"
Yeah, no problem. Just hop on as he kneels down. And,
I'll climb on him
so-
and then go completely limp on his back and take off as Clara and try to scout the town because she's faster than we are flying.
Daffodil, you are still a wolf, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, what kind of wolf is she?
Just a regular wolf.
Yeah, if you want like a color or something, she's
No,
like
no,
a
no,
gray
no, no.
wolf.
I'm just a little worried that some people might actually think of you as a wolf.
If they do, she'll probably just smack the person if we do enough damage.
Yeah, true. But she can turn back on her own, so.
Out of character, I know that the wild shape basically is a damage buffer.
Yeah.
Also out of character, Alpheus is like a 8-foot lion man.
Yeah, that,
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
the wolf.
We're getting
is
odd
going
looks
to stay
anyway.
here.
Yeah. We're bringing a talking 8-foot lion man to a town.
Who knows?
Mhm.
Maybe where you guys go is really progressive and open-minded.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, 50 years of social progress can't be that bad.
You look around and see no other races except humans now.
Oh god.
Damn it, it's just like Blackfield.
Me and Monique just chilling.
But yeah, so if you guys push it though, you can make it probably to the town by nightfall. Mac, you were saying you were gonna send Kara to fly out, right?
Send Kara to scout, yeah.
So you send Kara out, and she flies in more of a lateral line to the town instead of following the tracks, and you can see basically where you guys are right now is on top of what would be considered like a root of the mountain. And much like a tree root, it is inclined and sloped and curved and kind of merges into the ground when you get to the bottom of it. And that's kind of the slow decline that you're following right now. She flies more of a straight line from where you are to the town, and as she gets closer, you can see the tracks lead into it, and you see the metal thing that went past you in the tunnel stopped in the middle of this town. It has multiple appendages attached to its back, and each one seems to be filled with what looks like a dark rock of some type. The town itself is a medium size and is right on the ocean. There are ships in the harbor, and you can see multiple large buildings dotted around, and smaller buildings and areas with livestock and crops.
What have I missed?
Does any of
We
the
made it to the.
architecture
Have
look
we made
familiar?
it there, or
Not quite. Kara's just scouting.
Yeah, this is looking through Kara.
Does the architecture look familiar to Mac, or is it completely alien?
I would say the most you could gather from the architecture is that it's human looking,
Perfect.
but
Is it
beyond
busy?
that, regionally, you're not sure.
Is it busy looking? Are there people out and about, or very quiet?
Yeah, it's very busy looking. There are people fishing off of the docks. There are people in the marketplace. The city square is filled with people as well. Yeah, it's very busy and bustling looking.
Perfect.
All seeming to be human.
Then we'll proceed on, I suppose.
Okay. So yeah, you continue following the tracks, and after quite a while of walking, the sun begins to get lower in the sky, and you can see the sky begins to turn like a pink and purple and orange color as the sun begins to set. And
So when we get in the town, like 10 minutes before, I'm just gonna use my hat if I can. Raise turn to a gray version of Alcaeus.
okay,
I mean, look older, pretty much.
identical except gray, or
Yeah, basically his white fur is gray on me.
In other words, he's trying to make himself look older.
and like Alcaeus, so you can
Yes,
cause some
basically
trouble.
a giant lion man who's gray instead of white.
Oh, buddy. I
Alright.
think this guy itself only gives you
That's
an
for
extra
shits and
foot in
giggles.
height.
All right, I'm taking bets. Who's gonna be the first person Greylord kills?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just
person. I don't
wondering
have a
that is-
person. Like,
Given my experience, I think it's actually going to be himself.
mm,
Not by
Ray? Don't you
falling
be
off
doing
anything, but by angering
until
more
we
demons.
figure out everything.
I think it will be
We need to
within
stick
the first
together.
8
No
people
causing
you
trouble.
meet in this town.
within the first day.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Trying to be serious.
I'm not
As
gonna
we
kill
get
anyone.
closer, does Daffodil recognize this town at all?
Roll a history check.
No.
No, not really. Yeah, no, it's there's some aspects that remind you of places you've been, and you think maybe it might be that, but then other parts of it are just completely off, and yeah, totally foreign to you.
It'll just kind of like gives Greylor a look, as much as a wolf could give another now lion man a look.
Not a lineman, yeah, I'm just saying that's what I'm doing when we're like 10 minutes out from the village.
Is what I do.
And
Excuse me.
yeah, so the sun begins to drop and night begins to come as you finally make it to the outskirts of this town. And you can feel immediately, even though you're not up where it's very snowy, as you get closer to the coast, it's a very chilly wind and fairly cold. You come to what seems like the main gate, and it is open with nobody standing guard at it.
Is it closed?
It is open with nobody standing guard at it.
All right, let's just go on in then.
Okay. Well, you walk in and roll an investigation check.
11.
Not immediately, no.
Okay.
You are just within the front of the gates, and this seems to be almost like an industrial section,
Ah, my kind of place.
but currently it seems not very
Everything's
busy and not open.
Yeah, everything's just closed at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to go for the first person I can find.
Or we could stick together.
Well, you guys follow behind
Here
me.
it comes.
Okay, so
At the collar of your shirt, we're sticking together. When we're running off, at least not until we figure shit out. You hear me?
Where
We
we
don't
are.
know where we are. We do not know what this place is. We don't need to get lost like last time. Stick together until we can get our boundaries, at least. We
I
can
see.
gather information together.
DM, is there anyone?
yeah, you walk in, and initially, when you first get into town, you don't see anyone, so you kind of just keep walking, and eventually you get to a more open-looking market sort of area with people walking about.
Is there any stores that are open?
Yes, there's a few stores that are open.
I go up to the closest store
Okay.
that is open. Who is there and what store is this?
This seems to be just like a general goods sort of store.
And who is behind the counter?
It is a human female behind the counter with curly brown hair.
Excuse me, miss. Me and my friends seem to have gotten lost in the snow, and we have no idea exactly where we are. What name is this town, please?
And she says, "Oh, this is Ravenport. You're in Ravenport at the moment."
Thank you so much.
Do we know what continent Ravenport is part of?
Roll a history check.
Yeah, do we know where Ravenport is?
17.
Yes, Ravenport is in Finnabear.
Hold on, I need to look at the map. Wrong
Same
map.
here.
Finnadir, the Northern Frosts. So where were we?
Ethavon.
Ethavon. We just jumped continents. Okay, this is going to be a little more complicated than I thought.
You look a bit lost. You need a map.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
ma'am,
please.
that-
That
that'd
would be
be
so
absolutely-
wonderful.
Ma'am.
Could sell you a
Uh,
map for 5 gold.
I pulled out. Wait, how much?
5 gold.
I pulled out 5 gold and put it on the counter.
Ah, thank you.
She doesn't
Does she
question the
say-
gold or anything? Like, she doesn't look at the gold or...
She just takes it.
Thank you so much. Oh, I do have one more question. I basically take out my letter of thing. I can't remember, but it's basically the symbol of my guild, which is pretty much the wax stamp or whatever. And I'm just, by any chance, do you recognize this symbol at all? I'm part of this guild, but it's been a very long time since I've seen them. Been traveling a long while, actually. At all, do you recognize the symbol?
And she looks at it and says, "Oh, yeah, it's the guild. We got one in town if you need to stop by."
Oh, yes, please. I would like to ask them a few questions as well.
Sure. They're over on the west side of town. You'll find them.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am.
Sure.
By the way, ma'am.
Yes.
Why are you up the mountain? We saw this giant metal contraption going down the tunnel.
Oh,
What
yeah.
is-
Oh, that's a train. Never seen a train before.
We
What?
live in very rural. We all used to live in a very rural areas of where we came from, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It-
Great
These
new
trains you
invention.
speak of.
And we've heard of them before, but had never actually seen them up close. It's very exciting.
Would that be a deception check from Monique?
Sure. Yeah, I guess so.
All depends on if she's
I mean,
doing
this,
an insight.
Yeah, I mean, this lady doesn't really think there's anything more to what Monique is saying, so
Exactly.
yeah.
This train you
I'm
speak
not
of.
exactly lying. From where we've come from, it's technically a rural place compared to what we're seeing, for God's sakes.
And, ma'am,
Uh,
would you happen to know anyone who would speak Undercommon by chance?
Undercommon.
And
Good luck with that.
Some pad is currently stuck to my head by some sort of magic.
I highly doubt you'd find someone here in Finnebear that would speak Undercommon. It just doesn't. You just don't find it.
Excuse me, ma'am. This train you speak of. How
Sure.
about do you go about taming this metal worm?
Taming it. What in the world are you talking about?
I cover all cases mouth.
Yeah, so
Oh, I'm so sorry. He got his head hit way over the mountains. He just needs to lay down and take a nap. Would that mean and in this town we could acquire rooms in?
And she says, "Oh, you get into the front and it goes. You make it go and it follows the track. There's no taming. It's not a wild beast."
so it's a kind of like a vehicle of, not vehicle, a cart or something. We're very sorry. We've been traveling quite a long while, and it's very rare that we actually come into cities anymore.
And she says, "Oh, you can go where they sell tickets to buy a ticket. Take a ride. You might like it."
Oh, thank you so much for your information.
Sure.
And thank you so much again for all your help today.
There's an inn over on the east side of town if you want a nicer one. Don't go to the one on the south side. It's trash.
Understood. Thank you again so much.
What's trash about it?
The bad types of folks that stay there. Might be a little,
We better get
little
a
hard for
well,
you.
we better get a move on if we want to get a room.
Hmm.
I would like to drop by the guild first, though, considering that they're on two opposite sides.
Well, we'll get a room and we'll tell them you have an extra person coming. You can talk to your guild and we can sort things out in the rooms.
Yes.
And she says,
Wait a minute. We're on the
Go-
west and the east side. They're both on separate sides.
tell the innkeeper, Braun, Margaret sent you and give you a good deal.
Oh, thank you so much. You've been a
Yeah,
very
sure.
big help to us.
Safe travels now.
Yes, and you have a you have a bright future with your shop.
Oh, thank you.
And we head out. It's just like, no if ands or buts. Let's not keep talking. The more we talk, the more we could end up, more of the possibility that we could end up spilling
I
things.
take
huh?
my hand
Okay.
off all cases mouth.
And
Before
you walk out of the shop and you hear a very loud noise emanate throughout the town. It's just and it's just loud and just echoes off of every building. Makes all of you jump.
Ah,
what's going on?
calm
Did
down,
we-
Achaeus.
And you hear
I look around. I look around to see the other people if they're freaking out or anything.
and it's just
That
loud
sounded
and
like thing from the tunnel.
the ground starts to shake, similar to the tunnel as well. And
Did we see any clocks in that shop?
what's that?
Did we see any clocks in that shop?
You would have to go back in and look around. I would say initially you didn't really see any clocks, no.
No worries.
Gonna have to look up on these trains if there's a library anywhere here. Perhaps we can get a bit more history of how it's made and such like that. I may have a funny feeling yet again of who built it, though. Well, a funny feeling of who may have created it, anyways. That one person in my guild that I mentioned before, remember? The one with the
Right.
crazy dream idea that they had? It sounded just like this, but not exactly like this.
Well, I
Just
guess
a
I
big
guess
old
most of us will go
vehicle
to
type
the
thing
inn.
that could be pulled by some kind of force other than a creature.
I'm
I'm
guessing
not
most of us
entirely
go to
sure
the inn
how
room
he
now.
came up with it.
That's odd.
Let's just get to the inn. I think we
Yes.
all could use some sleep. Oh, and tomorrow morning, no one runs off without the rest. I'm looking at you, Gray, and I'm basically looking at everyone here. Yeah, pretty much everyone here. We need to try to stick together
inclined to
until we can
disagree
get
with
our
that.
boundaries.
I disagree. You should all do what you wish. I don't. Well, Greylor might, but the rest of us. I'll say this. I'm not sure about you. The rest of us three have no loyalties to worry about. So I'd advocate doing what you wish.
I know there are no loyalties or such like that, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about. I'm simply meaning that since we're all from the same timeline in 55 years in the future, it might be wise for us to at least stick together since we all know each other for one thing, and so that none of us end up, well, blowing our cover looking over to Alcaeus.
Whatever.
I'm not too worried about that.
People would just think we're crazy if we told them we're from the past.
Don't worry about me. I'll behave. I just want to make sure that everyone is okay.
I know. And I just want to make sure that everyone is safe and that trouble doesn't get caused. I mean, it's kind of like we've been given a second chance.
If you're worried about trouble being caused, perhaps someone who's been gone for 55 years shouldn't show back up to their guild masters after being gone for so long, with having not aged a day, and to explain that they've indeed been displaced in time. Just a suggestion.
I don't know. There's only been a few of the guild members who's been, well, knows of crazy things happening. Just the time thing is a little off. But it's the best chance that we have. Everyone who's ever been a part of the guild is always on record. If I were to tell, they might be people that we can tell who can help us fit into this day of age.
Your record might show that you died in just popping about nowhere. Might cause
And I
problems.
guess I'm gonna just have to find my way to get to the master. We may be on a different continent entirely, but I want to at least try. I have to know what's happened.
I will trust all of you. And
now that I think about it,
and believe in
we're on a
whatever
different
you'd like
continent.
to do.
Gil has gone very far. Unless something happened
And when large institutions grow, they tend to become corrupt. So my only advice is caution.
Excuse me.
These are new
Our
members.
guild is
You never
very
met them.
wholesome.
You don't know that you can trust them. That was then.
Don't want any of these doubts in my mind. Let's just get to the inn and get some sleep. We all need to think about this.
So should we, if we're going to be working together, should we have like a team name?
Oh, great! Please don't.
I mean, we were basically chosen by a quote-unquote time god, more or less.
We weren't exactly chosen. Apparently, by taking us out of a specific point in time, we were able to stop some kind of collision going on and ruination of the timeline. And for that to have been fixed with us going back in, we basically had to be put back in 55 years into the future.
I think what Monique is trying to say, Greylor, is we're less a god's chosen and more cut out, like a cancer.
Oh.
Okay, why does that feel like something completely horrible? Cancer? Seriously? I don't think we were a cancer.
We were the reason
If we
for
were
a
a
world
cancer,
collapsing.
then why were we back in?
Like a cyst or a tumor.
We needed to be removed. To ensure the natural order.
Out of character. No, seriously, we need to go out of character of it. It is funny because in our day and age, there are no things as operations to be able to remove those things. We had magic and such like that. That's what D&D is.
I mean,
And
Yeah,
you're talking
maybe.
about removing tumors and things that apparently didn't exactly make any sense, or technically didn't
Hey,
even
you
exist
seen
in-
medieval medicine? It's all about balancing of the humors through like leeching people.
Oh,
Don't
God.
even. Oh, I
Yeah.
hate that. Okay,
Yeah.
let's get to the tavern.
The head
Let's
nail.
just get to the tavern.
Uh-huh. I'm down for that.
During their conversation, was Daffodil able to pay attention to any of that?
Comprehend anything?
Roll perception, Daffodil.
Okay.
Yep. You heard all of it.
Oof.
All of it.
Oh,
Hmm.
kiddo.
Um,
Go ahead.
yeah, she's still gonna be a wolf as you guys start heading towards the inn.
Fine by me.
And the town itself, the street is bricked, and the buildings, I would compare it to being almost Renaissance era architecture, like Renaissance Gothic era architecture. And everything here has like a very, like all the shingles on the roofs have very uniform, dark, bluish, almost black colored shingles on all the roofs.
Fascinating.
I mean, do we have a feeling of what Gothic looks like back in, I guess, 50 years ago?
Well, no. Character-wise, like in this world, Gothic doesn't exist. I'm just letting you know, like the
Oh,
real
okay.
world equivalent, sort of like the sort of buildings you're seeing would be compared to that.
For creating a mental image for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. You see that on the corners of the streets, there are metal poles that come up with what look like a glass box on top. And since it is nighttime, you see that there is what looks like arcane energy inside of them. And they kind of light up little corners of the streets as you go through.
Fascinating.
Is interesting. You're right. Fascinating.
And
Again, I think it might be better to find a library and learn about history instead of just asking about these things. Make us look nuts.
And as you look up into the sky, you see green and yellow and purple aurora borealis up in the sky. And
Beautiful.
you finally make it to the tavern, and it is on an elevated foundation, and there are stairs coming off of the streets that lead up into the tavern, and that's probably a good 4 or 5 steps up into it. And the building itself is very, as I said, Renaissance era Gothic sort of architecture. There's a lot of spires, roofs like that, and like small towers on each side of it, and square building. It has like vaulted ceilings that go up like very high and narrow at the top, and like sort of layered layover shingles on it that are the dark blue, almost black color. And walking up, it is a double door to get into it.
Is there any sign that looks like it says like welcome, or do we have to like knock on this door?
I mean, there's a sign out front that says tavern on the outside of it. It has
Okay,
it has like a wood sign out front, and it has a red flaming rose emblazoned on the top of the wood sign, and it says tavern beneath it.
Let's just go in then.
All right, yeah. Alcaeus will go up and open the door and hold it open for everybody else.
I'm going in too and walking right to the front counter.
Okay. Yeah, so you walk in through the front double doors and are immediately encased in warmth as you walk in compared to the much chillier outside. The light is very dim, but it is a natural sort of firelight that illuminates the room. And inside it is very open in the middle, and there's an upper balcony, like a second story above it, where people are sitting, and there's like small tables that have groups of 2 to 3 people sitting at it drinking. And
Beautiful.
Hmm.
the ceiling itself is very high and vaulted as you walk in. And yeah, it's very cozy and warm
Okay.
compared to outside.
Do we notice any noticeable difference between the customs that we knew from 50 years ago as compared to now? I guess, as an example, are people drinking from bowls or are they drinking from, like, cups?
Roll a perception check.
Yeah, like different
so-
cultures.
So yeah, they seem to be drinking out of either wood or some kind of polished silver metal tankards. Kind of tall, wide tankards that have a handle on them.
Okay, and this isn't like, I'm guessing this isn't new to us, right?
No, you've seen these
I'm
before.
gonna go up to whoever's working there.
I mean, maybe like the metal ones would have been less so common with common folk, but more common with, like rich, elegant, classy folk, if you will. Whereas, like,
I'm
it seems like even people, like commoner sort of people, like have one. Not all of them, but some do.
Well, who's the person that kind of looks as if they own the place or runs the place? Like
Uh,
a manager or just even a worker behind a bar or something, the closest person.
Yeah, there is a male half elf behind the counter.
I shall go up and talk to him.
I will
I will
join.
join them.
Is it a he or she right off the bat before I get over?
Male.
I
It's a he. Yeah.
I will wait with Wolfadil in the front.
Wait for Daffodil to get in. Okay, there she is.
And
Excuse me, sir. Who do we speak about of getting rooms for the night?
and he says, why, me, of course. I am Braun. I am the owner and proprietor of the Flaming Rose Tavern.
You have a very lovely establishment here, sir.
Yes,
Oh, why, thank you.
We
Thank you.
were actually recommended here by a. Look, I forgot the name again.
The
Her
lady
name was
at the
Marjorie.
store
Tell me,
and
Braun, do you serve
said
whiskey
that
here?
this was one of the finest places
Yes,
to go.
of course.
Can I have some and leave the bottle?
Oh, yes, of course.
Cheers.
And he turns around and grabs a bottle off the top shelf. Well, he goes for like one like below it, and then kind of stops and then grabs one off the top shelf. We've
been having a hard time traveling lately. She was very kind to us to have mentioned you.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, as he's getting the bottle and pouring a glass and then setting it in front of Mac and then leaving the bottle, he looks at all of you and says, yes. How is Marjorie? Haven't seen her in quite a while now.
Well, we only just met her, but she looks like she's doing good.
And
Bright
she's 5
smiles
gold
and
coins
everything.
richer.
And he says, the good. I don't get out much. I'm rather busy here most of the time, so.
Well, we haven't been to many cities in a long while. We've been doing a lot of traveling and such.
Where from?
Here, there, everywhere. It's kind of hard.
We're originally from a small town near Wintervale.
Okay. Across the pond then. How'd you find yourselves over here then?
Oh, here, there.
That was a very weird adventure. Some things
We
happened
spent a
that I
long
never
time on the
forgot.
roads.
Yeah, some things just
I
shouldn't be
see.
talked about either.
Well, you see,
Let's just say we would like to be able to get caught up with a few things if possible. By any chance, is there a library in town? We would like to learn more about this wonderful place of yours. City, as in city.
And he says, yes, there's a relatively small library in town, but it does the job for most of us.
Oh, thank you so much. So, how much are the rooms for the night?
And he says, "Oh, well, it'll be 5 silver per night."
How many rooms are we getting? Everyone? One each?
We can get one each, unless Daffodil wishes to share a room with one of us.
I think
Or would you prefer to have your own room, my dear?
Alcaeus and Wolfadil are still at the front, waiting for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, look, however, and I'll just slap 5 gold down on the counter. Say, that should do the price.
And he says, "Ah, yes, yes. This will do nicely."
I'm sure it will, and I'm sure it'll cover food, drink, whatever else we might ask you for.
Speaking of food and drink, what by chance do you have to offer in your fun establishment?
And he says, "Oh, well, all kinds of ales, all kinds of whiskeys. We have vodkas, rums, bourbons, pretty much anything you would want. Food-wise, we serve 2 meals, breakfast and dinner. Lunch you'll have to figure out on your own.
Oh,
Breakfast
completely
is typically served at 9 a.m. and dinner is typically served at 7 o'clock p.m.
I see.
And he says, and the menu changes. We have a variety of games and vegetables and herbs that grow in these parts, so it's
Ah, yes.
constantly changing menu."
I can completely understand that. You serve what you get.
Can we hear the conversation from all the way from here?
Roll a perception check. Yeah, Alcaeus and Daffodil, I would say, definitely hear this.
Her ears will kind of flick a little bit, and she'll look up at Alcaeus.
Alcaeus will look down and give her this. You'll see his face kind of scrunch up as if he's a little bit confused. And he'll look around for some kind of clock.
Okay. Roll investigation. It's a little dusty and dark in here, so you don't see anything. Your eyes haven't quite adjusted yet.
Okay. He'll kneel down and he will say to Daffodil in her wolf form, give me your paw if you are hungry, and I will let the rest know. And he stretches out his hand.
She will put her whole head on top of your paw.
I guess you're very hungry. He will start beckoning over to whoever's closest. Hey, guys.
Yes?
I think our little friend here is starting to get hungry and tired. I think.
Well, we
Could you
have
get
had a
something for
long
us?
day trying to get down that blasted mountain. Daffodil, it might be wise to switch back right now.
She just stares at you.
Come on now, Daffodil.
Are people watching as as Monique asks her to turn back into whatever she?
We're safe. We're safe
Here, hold on real
now.
quick. Let's see.
There's no need to
Like-
worry.
Like, are people curious, or is this thing like
Is this
Common.
normal?
is this
No-
normal?
Nobody seems to really notice it. You guys still haven't gathered attention from the other patrons yet.
Okay.
By the way, DM, I have a question.
Yes.
Is there anyone in this tavern who looks a bit on the shady side?
Roll investigation.
18, not bad.
Yes, there is.
Can I try and walk over there talking about when he taking away all my power?
Yeah, so you see what looks like a human sitting in the corner of the room by himself. He is playing 5-knuckle fillet with a dagger, and he has a tankard of something next to him. He's dressed all in black and has black scraggly hair and eye patch over his left eye and sandpapery sort of 5 o'clock shadow.
I just sit down in the chair or whatever across from him at his table.
Mm-hmm. And As you sit down, he's focusing on the dagger and his hand, and he's still playing the 5-knuckle fillet. He says, "Don't know you. Don't you know it's rude to sit with people that you don't know? You see, I'm sitting here all by myself. Why do you feel you need to intrude?" And he does a flourish with the dagger and slams it into the table and crosses his arms and sits back and looks at you.
Well, I saw you were playing with that knife. Would you care for a game?
You willing to put a little gold on a game, huh?
Oh yes, I have some old coins I mean to get rid of.
And he says, good.
I'll put 10 gold on the table.
And he says, I'll have you know, 10 isn't gonna cut it. I play for high stakes only.
How high of stakes?
500 gold, or you can turn around and walk away.
Can I see if he's lying or not?
Sure. Roll insight.
16.
Doesn't seem like it. He's just looking at you, dead faced, unblinking, with his one eye. He does have the eye patch.
How about, since we've just met, how about 100 gold instead?
He says, and how about you stand up and get the fuck off of my table? You don't want to pay to play with the big boys? Get out of here.
Okay, I leave.
And he takes a drink out of his tankard, and you hear the as he begins playing 5-finger fillet again.
And when he takes a drink out, I use elemental attunement when he takes a drink to make that drink like boiling hot.
Are you sure?
I mean, I don't think I have to touch the drink to make it happen.
Alright.
Let's go.
Let me roll something real quick.
God damn it.
I'm gonna look up how elemental attunement works.
You had one job.
That is a natural 20.
Oh, fuck.
He takes a drink out of his tankard and spits it out immediately. And you see him with his tongue out, and he's like, and looking around the room and sees you as you walk away and says, "Hey, you!"
Do we all hear this?
Roll perception.
Perception. If he's yelling out, "Hey, you."
Mm-hmm. And that's a relatively low
I
DC.
don't look at him, I just keep walking towards my friends.
I guess I'm still more focused on freaking Daffodil then.
And yeah, I would say that you guys hear this. And as Graylor keeps walking away, he grabs the tankard of the boiling hot liquid and walks up behind Graylor and throws it at the back of his head. And you take...
I don't get to make a save against this or anything?
You turned your back to him after...
I mean, you can roll a dexterity save if you want.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. So you duck down, and as he tosses this liquid, it goes all over Monique and burns her and does 2 points of damage.
Ah! Frig, what the hell?
And he looks at you and throws the cup at you and walks out of the tavern.
What?
Monique, are you alright?
Look over. Oh, I am giving a glaring look at Gray. It's just like, Gray!
I didn't do
I
nothing.
walk over to him, grab his ear, haul him directly into my face, and it's just like, what the fuck did you do?
And it's kind of red. It's not blistered or anything, but it's a little bit red and tender to the touch.
I did not do anything.
What part of my, did I burn my face or something?
Yeah, it was your left
Fun.
your left cheek area, down
Oh,
your
my left
cheek,
cheek
and
is red, but my entire face is red with anger.
the left side of your cheek is kind of red and tender now.
Shit. What the fuck did you do? We already come into a brand new town, don't know no one, and you go and instantly start causing trouble?
I did not do anything.
Apparently you did something. I just taste it. Does it taste like booze of some sort? Like,
Yeah, it tastes
What?
like hot whiskey.
Like-
Oh,
I don't think they serve hot whiskey in this bar.
I mean, it's very cold here. They might.
And
I'm drinking whiskey. It's pretty hot.
the guy with the eye patch leans back into the doorway, seemingly to have left, but not, and says, "Ah, Gray, I'll be catching up with you then."
Can I move over to the fire?
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. Cheers.
What
Um,
happened? What did you do?
Alcaeus will try and grab some of the snow on top of his head and slowly prod on Monique's face.
I instantly
try to-
stop him. It's just like, one thing you were never supposed to do is put freezing cold something onto a burn. Don't worry
sorry.
about it. I prefer to just leave it for a sec.
Oh,
Water
just-
instantly cools. It is a thin layer. Although you should probably be worried about the state of Greylor right now. I don't.
Can I
end
get up?
punching that
Sure.
gut.
Can I
In
walk over to
one
Monique?
Yes.
Can I like lightly tap her on the cheek and say, "You'll be grand," and cast Cure Wounds?
You have cure wounds?
Yes.
Cool. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
And go
think
back
wizards-
to the fire after.
I didn't think wizards got cure wounds.
Thanks, Mac.
They don't.
Mac. Mac.
So that's only 3 hit points, but it'll bring you back to full. I'm
Oh,
pretty
it
sure.
brings me back to full. It knocked me down
Nice.
2. Perfect.
See, no harm done. It's a harmless prank.
Harmless.
Oh yeah.
I really hauled down on his ear, and it's just like, do you
Harmless.
really want
Oh,
me to
no.
pierce this ear with my lovely little nails? Right now, you can feel a sting in your ear. Seriously, Gray, behave yourself. What exactly did you just do?
By the way,
I'm waiting.
I win the bet. I said within the first 8 people you meet.
You really did. It's the
No,
first
you
person.
said
It's like
the
the
first 8
second.
people I would
Nice.
fight,
Third.
not fuck with.
No,
I
no.
mean, I did think you'd be the first to get injured, Greylor, but no, it was Monique.
Yikes.
No, I said the first 8
Oh,
people that you meet.
He dodged.
Yep.
Gotta have consequences.
Mhm.
Mhm,
Oh,
mhm.
there's going to be a consequence indeed.
Oh no.
Sorry, as this all happened, how are everybody else reacting?
Some of the other patrons look a bit startled, and the ones that were like closest to all of this going on, like kind of got up out of their seats and moved out of the way a bit. But they're starting to go back to their chairs and their drinks after everything seemingly is under control, if you could call it that.
If you're not going to explain to me, at least say sorry to the owner of this lovely establishment for causing a scene. I basically haul him over to the halfling. I can't remember what his name was.
Half elf.
I was just like, I am so sorry, sir, for our friend here. He just can't seem to settle down and just loves to chat with people. And sometimes say things that he regrets, right? Say you're sorry.
I didn't say anything to him though.
Obviously, you said something to him. And obviously, you did something to his whiskey. I know you with your elemental bullshit and such.
We
Mm.
clearly saw
Yes.
you talking to him.
Hey, you're sorry, considering that he threw it at you. Be the better person for once.
And he says, I can tell looking at you, you got a trouble streak, don't you?
And
Well,
that
a
little
wasn't
bit.
trouble.
Still
More of a
trying to
harmless
work
prank.
on it.
Well, why don't you try to not cause trouble in my establishment, sir, please? Otherwise, I
Very
will
well.
insist that you will have to leave.
Yes, Gray. At least say sorry.
That man's come in almost every day for the last 5 years, and you've been here all of what, 5 minutes? Have some respect.
Well, Gray, what do you have to say?
I give you a gold and call it even.
can't solve everything with money, Gray.
He hasn't learned a
You
thing
haven't
yet.
even said sorry to me for me getting burnt. You know what? Fine. Don't say anything then. Can I get the key to my room, please? I really just would like to rest.
Yeah.
Yes, I give out the keys and I basically just toss Gray's behind my back towards him. He can try to fumble and catch it if he wants to.
Okay.
The last one I give to is Alcais, and it's just like, can you watch Daffodil for the night? I really just need to turn in from all this. Maybe try some meditating and such like that. I really just need to cool
Yes.
down.
Yes, no problem. But just
Turn to
take care of yourself.
I turned to Halfling and said, I am so sorry yet again. If he causes
Half-elf.
trouble, then by all means, do whatever you have to do to punish him.
Oh, if he causes trouble, he'll be gone. I will not stand for any funny business. This is a highly reputed establishment, and I plan to keep it that way.
Thank you, sir. I'll be off now. And I go off to go to my room.
Okay.
A
What?
very nice establishment. If those beds are really soft right now, I'm gonna be like, I like the future.
And what are the rest of you doing?
I go to sleep too.
Okay.
Alcais will go up to the person in Braun, and he will ask, do you accept, he looks down at Daffodil. Do you accept wolves in your establishment? Sorry.
He says, yes, for an additional fee, pets are welcome.
And a character would be a good idea for her to change back.
How much would that be exactly?
Can I hear that?
Roll a perception. An additional 10 gold.
10 gold. He starts searching through his pouch.
Yes, you do hear
finds
that.
10 gold.
And she's
I
You know
will
what, it
shout
probably-
across the room. Is that on top of what I've already given you? Or included?
and she says, yes, that is on top of it. I wasn't aware that you had a pet.
Not a bother. And go back to drinking by the fire. He'll take care of it.
Okay.
Probably would
Alcais
be
is
best
slowly reaching over and giving him the 10 gold in his hand. Well, here you are, sir.
And he takes it and says, well, thank you. Just make sure to take it outside when it has to go.
Yes, no problem. I'll take good care of it. Come on, you.
Daffodil follows Alcais into their room.
Okay.
I will stay downstairs until I finish my bottle.
All right.
You get a.
How long does that take?
Roll a Constitution save.
Oh boy. You got it.
Please roll high so that you don't get exhaustion.
I'd much rather roll low. It's far funnier.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ooh,
Big 6.
there we go.
Yes, Wizard Con.
So at this point, you were about 3/4 of the way through the bottle and are extremely inebriated.
Ooh. Am I still near the fire?
Yeah. You're not to the point of
Okay,
where you feel like
fine.
you're gonna puke, but you are extremely intoxicated. So,
I'll look into the flames. Roll up the left sleeve. Take another swig. I thought we had a deal. Take off the symbol and throw it in the fire and go to bed.
Oh fuck.
okay. Yeah, and as all of you head off to bed, that's where we'll go ahead and end it for this week.
Nice.